We are 5 Live. I'm BobbyT.
And I'm Crza.
And today we are talking about heavy metal.
Does that make it better?
Makes it awesomer. All right, today we are going to talk some heavy metal.
I don't even really know what's going on here now after the arm cock thing. What is that?
In wrestling world, time means nothing. Nothing happens.
Yeah, okay, sweet. So we're
moving on. I almost killed a man in an ambulance last week. Next week, I'm working for women's charities or something.
Now you're a baby face.
I don't know. Wrestling makes no sense to me, but I love it. So, but we're not talking wrestling. We're talking heavy metal, and this is our third episode.
Something that I like.
I think your limits have been tested this week.
Yeah, I really kind of questioned my metal credentials.
I think one of the funniest things that has happened so far in this arcade, and we laugh a lot, and a lot of stuff happens, but Crza came in today and said, dude, I don't think I'm metal enough.
Yeah, I mean, well, I really was never metal enough, I think. Because
you're a punk.
Yeah, I'm a punk kid that just likes some metal because there's a lot of crossover between punk and metal, especially with that hardcore genre. So yeah,
the 2000s were big for that. It really crossed over. We talked about that in an older episode where I think the cores really started to get a little more specialized and really started to mix. Yeah. So we saw a lot of different types of music coming, and it got heavier.
Which is good. It's just some of it maybe it's just a little too heavy for me. But I don't know. Because
you know what though.
Yeah, okay, see that?
So, you know what? Something can be bad.
Yeah, it's true.
Not all metal is good metal.
And so maybe that's what we need to discuss some of this and then maybe get your opinion on it, and then we can decide.
Because for me, I love metal, and I have been to all of the corners of it, and I'm starting to kind of figure out what I really like. And getting some guidance from a couple friends like Josh, really into it. I want to get a couple references from our friend Bill, who likes our wrestling stuff, but he's also really into metal.
Okay.
In future episodes, we're going to talk about stuff like more prog metal, like Mastodon.
Yes,
bands like that.
I love Mastodon.
That's going to be good.
But that's the thing. That's kind of the bands I don't want to talk about here because everybody already knows about Mastodon and Between the Buried and Me and stuff like that.
We can talk Mastodon and then bands like Mastodon.
True.
So they are out there. So with that, I think we're going to start with the band that we got as a recommendation called Alcest or Alcest. We can't really put our finger on the name.
I guess it depends on how French you want to be.
Alcest.
Yes. They are a French band. They have 5 studio albums out. And we did listen to a few albums. I kind of got the feeling, speaking of, the Mastodon-like bands, I kind of got a Between the Buried and Me feel for this band, especially if you like any of the older Between the Buried and Me music, like the Great Misdirect album, and basically after that, it was very much akin to that.
So with this band, it gave me the first album that I was recommended. It was their newest album. It was called Komodo.
Yes. Yeah, it's something like that.
Something like that. Dude. Just so everyone knows, go to Wikipedia. Our information may be good, it may be bad. We do a lot of episodes, and we listen to a lot and watch a lot. So we got good notes
here.
It's 1 a.m. right now. So anyway, though, this album, I really enjoyed it, and it reminded me of a band called Thursday.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that you had said was that there wasn't enough singing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The songs that there was vocals in it, I absolutely loved. The problem for me was that the songs that did not have any vocals, the songs were building up to this epic, apex, and then there was no payout.
Well, that would be going back to what we were talking about right before we came on, is Fear Factory.
Yes.
Where if you have Fear Factory, the band, they're good, but you could take them or leave them. Once you throw in that vocal, that's where it's at, and that's the payoff.
Yeah.
And songs like Descent, where everything builds up to this huge moment, and then everything drops out, the vocal leads you to the next portion, and you feel triumphant.
Yeah, and that's really what kind of, in my opinion, was lacking with this band. And I get it. Some of these songs are on these Alcest albums are 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So I get it. You can't have 7 minutes of a singer singing that type of metal, blasting his vocals. But I need something.
Well, so this is where my Thursday connection comes in, where I feel like Alcest is very great in the way that they are produced. Mm-hmm. They're produced to a perfect point. Mm-hmm. But they're lacking the things like the payoff, the vocal payoff.
Yeah, like I said, the songs are building to a point, but then it kind of falls off the edge, and there really isn't
Thursday
anything.
will give you that. Mm-hmm. And Thursday also has the two singers. They have a screamer and a singer. They'll give you these things, but they're not as well produced. They're maybe a little more raw.
Well, I think that's... sorry, go ahead.
And it kind of, that lends, that being that kind of raw lends itself to the genre of music we're looking at.
Yes.
But sometimes they do overuse the singing. Mm-hmm. So you kind of fall in this weird, like, where's the right point?
Well, I think with Thursday, too, is that they're more on that kind of punk side of metal, that kind of, I guess it's called post-hardcore if you want to get...
Yeah, it would be post-hardcore. Their album, Full Collapse, their first album, is one of... Truthfully, if I had to make a top 50 albums of all time, I may throw that in there. I love that album. Understanding in a Car Crash is a phenomenal song, and Concealer, and just amazing lyrics, great usage of double singing, but not as produced as Alcest's first
Well, that's the thing. That's the style, that post-hardcore, that's part of it. The production or lack thereof. Whereas in bands like this, like Alcest, Between the Buried and Me, Mastodon, those prog metal, they need that production value because they need to have everything sound, exactly how it's supposed to bring the song together and everything. Yeah.
And a band I want to bring up briefly, we spoke briefly about this on our ride to Comic-Con, is a band called Hum.
Yes.
Very much in the same vein. They came around in the mid to late 90s. I believe they had 1 or 2 albums. They did the song called Stars with, I think She Missed the Train to Mars. She's out back counting stars.
Yeah.
Howard Stern, they played on his show once, and they just wanted every cable to be in the right place, and everything needed to be here, and everything. And they were really tuning their guitars, and it was driving Howard crazy. Mm-hmm. They played their song, and he ended it with the best compliment you can ever get is, you play like mental patients.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like is sometimes missing from Alcest, and maybe it's that missing of the payoff.
Yeah, that's...
but Hum is in that same vein of music.
Well, I guess in the end, there's really kind of two schools of thought, really. I mean, you can be that band where it's just like, I'm going to plug my shit in, play my 3 or 4 power chords, and belt out my lyrics and everything like that, and that's going, excuse me, that's going to be powerful. That's my message. And then you can have bands like Boston or Hum, where it's like Boston, the band Boston, were music students.
Yes.
That
These are music geniuses.
Exactly. So you have those people where it's like, I need, this knob has to be at this 10th of a degree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, or else the song does not sound good. So, it's either one or the other. Either you just want to play music and you're like the Ramones, you're like Nirvana, you're like basically not any, but the majority of grunge bands in the 90s. You're just playing your power chords. Raw. Yeah, and that's fine. People love that shit. I love that stuff too. I love punk. I love that kind of simplicity in the idea of I'm just going to play 3 or 4 chords and there you go. You've got a song. But I also like these bands too where it's like, I'm going to be the most technically proficient.
Some of those beautiful stuff.
Yeah, and that's great too. That's great in its own right as well. The fact that you're that talented to be able to do those signature changes and the tempo changes and the guitar bridges, between notes and stuff like that. That's awesome. So in the end, it really has to come down to what you want to hear, what you want to listen to, and all that good stuff. My problem, like I said, is that it's like a video game, right? Well, because I use this analogy a lot. It's like a video game. You can play a video game that is not the most, it's not great looking, but if the story is good and the controls are good and everything else around it is kind of, I guess we would say,
Workable.
could say mediocre, yeah. But all those mediocre components make it good. But you can't go the other way around. You can't have a visually stunning video game that's got no story, the controls are weak, and anything everything else that has to do with playing a game, it's non-existent. You can't go that way. And that's what Alcest is. Alcest is that beautifully produced music, but for me, everything else is lacking.
Okay. I think their lack of vocals was really something that I missed, and I think maybe a second singer may have helped that.
Maybe.
There's still a band that's continuing to move.
Yeah.
These are artists. They could add another singer. They could add something new. I think that I'd give them 3.5 lives.
I would give them 3.5,
right.
yeah, as well, because it seems like, from what I understand, from the descriptions I've seen on on the internet for these albums I'm listening to, it seems like they kind of went from one genre of metal, which I think they were originally black metal, that kind of style.
They were way different earlier.
Yeah, and they moved over to this other genre, which is called shoegaze. Shoegaze metal is basically because of it has to do with the sounds of the guitars, because everything is at the
It's
pedal.
all pedal.
Yeah, exactly. So shoegaze, you raise the shoe against the thing.
It's a lot of making noises with the guitars and doing things like that.
So because of the change and maybe they can incorporate some more stuff in what they're doing with their newer sound and stuff like that. Maybe there's room for potential there. So I would definitely give them a 3.5, because I did like the music and I liked the songs. It's just there was just that one
missing.
Yeah, exactly. There's
so
just
this
something.
is going to move us on to and we'll go relatively fast.
Speaking from something that's missing something to a band that has too much of one. Yeah, too much of one thing.
This is and I have to wonder if, as I think about it more, so the band we're talking about, is Rings of Saturn.
Yeah, and they are a 4-piece band out of the Bay Area of California. They also have four full-length studio albums as well. So
these guys came around about 2009.
Yes,
self-produced their first album. They are very, very heavy.
Yeah.
So I am a fan of Brutality. I really am. Like I said, I've been through all of the corners of metal. This one was actually suggested to me by, I was on a vacation down in North Carolina. And when I'm on vacation, usually at one point, the baby's got to go to sleep. My wife doesn't want to go out. And it's like 7:30 at night, 8 o'clock at night. So I start looking around for Walmart, Target, Toys R Us. I want to go buy some toys. Shopping.
Yeah, exactly.
So I see that there's a Toys R Us right next to a Kmart, right next to a Walmart, right next to a Target.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's Asheville, North Carolina. This is perfect. So I get over there, and I walk into a treasure trove. I was very happy. Now, normally when I'm in the store, I just put on headphones. Yeah. Sometimes music is playing, sometimes not. If the headphones are on, no one bothers you.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just go about your business. So that's normally what I do. In this case, I was listening to Skeleton Witch because I love Skeleton Witch.
Yeah.
So I have the big headphones on at this point. I do my shopping. I grab a ridiculous amount of toys. Yeah. That vacation was paid for in toys, which is even better.
There you go.
Paying
for toys with toys.
I get to the counter, and the kid behind the counter, I believe his name was Steven. He was metal as Asheville, North Carolina is going to offer. He had the black straight hair, and he's wearing like his metal clothes, and then like the blue Toys R Us shirt like over it. Like
that's awesome.
Clearly like some kind of deicide shirt's creeping through.
That's
and
awesome.
There's something gore. It had to be.
That's fantastic. But you let us down, Steven. You let us down.
Yeah, a little bit. So he's ringing me out. And I can hear his music because he has his earbuds kind of flipped down, and I've got my headphones down. And I hear his music, and he says to me, "So what are you listening to?" I said, "Oh, this is Skeleton Witch." I explained who they are. I said, "What do you got going on?" And he goes, "Oh, Rings of Saturn." And he said, "I can't get through a shift without metal. I need metal."
Yeah.
And he goes, "And these guys are all the metal I need." So I immediately go outside to my car. I'm like, Spotify, I got to hear these guys. Maybe I got a couple good tracks.
Maybe.
So
maybe it's just me not being metal enough.
Well, so Crza early on listens to the first one track and says to me, I say they use the cheater pedal, meaning the double kick pedal that kicks way more than double.
Yes.
Where it really sounds like a machine gun.
Yeah. Generally, I'm a fan of the double bass drum and rapid use of that.
Oh, this was a lot.
Yeah. The second song in this album that we listened to was called, what is it in my notes here? Desolate Paradise.
Desolate Paradise. Yeah.
And I had texted Bobby after I listened to this, and I was like, dude, this is way too much.
And this is after getting a text earlier saying, "Oh, give me it all."
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Chris is like, I could take it. I can listen to this. And then we play Desolate Paradise. And it starts off with this face melter of the solo.
Oh my god, yeah, the guitar, the music is really good.
They gotta chill.
Dude, I don't know, maybe the drummer's got some incriminating photos of the band, and he's like, if you don't let me use this...
He's like, I'm going to name these albums, and I am going to use this quadruple kick pedal where I shoot it with a machine gun.
If you don't let me use this pedal... I'm gonna show the world that you were listening to the Spin Doctors and earlier in the week. Dude, seriously, like it was an obscene amount of this cheater pedal. Yeah,
it's so much, and it's the vocals is fine.
Yeah,
Martin was here listening to it, and he goes, "I don't see how you guys can listen to this," and it's because of the drums.
Yeah, I mean the growl.
I don't mind it.
No,
but it just needs to be slowed down, and I'll use Fair Factory again as a perfect example of how to do certain things.
Yes.
They would use the cheater, but in between, they weren't.
No, because there's a point in that song where, again, it's another really sick guitar solo going on.
Brutal.
And then the drummer walked in the studio. Was like, you know what this needs? Some more.
Oh, let me get my Tech 9 out and just put it next to this.
It was just insane. It was insane.
Damn, dude.
And it's sad because it was a really good song that was kind of ruined by, again, this is kind of going back to that point where it's like you can have just instruments plugged in, or you need to mess around with and fiddle with everything to the nth degree. And I think this is what happened. They fiddled around. They just were like, what does this need? We need more. And then it got to the point where it was
too much.
Yeah, it was just overwhelming.
It's this is definitely 5 pounds in a 50 pound, or I'm sorry, 50 pounds in a 5 pound.
Yeah,
because this is a lot.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I really do like about these guys is they do these interludes where they'll just pop in some Spanish style flamenco guitar or some kind of folk type guitar, and it's these really awesome like drum pieces and stuff, and then they'll get right immediately back into that cheater pedal and you go, oh my god. You just like what could have been great if you just stuck with a double pedal.
Yeah, guys, sometimes less is more. That's really what it comes down to. Because I love the vocalist. Like I like the brutal screaming, and he does it in different pitches too. So he can get up high and do that screech, but he can also get down low and do that growl. But you need to either replace the drummer or destroy whatever incriminating files this guy's got on you.
Take it on the chin and make a new movie thing. Your wife might leave you, your kids might hate you, but you'll get rid of this goddamn cheater pedal, man, because it's killing.
Yeah.
So, next episode, we're gonna do some viewer.
Yeah, Tony Velocity had given this band a recommendation called "Dehumanizing." Is it Ida Train?
Ida Train.
Ida Train.
Yeah.
Worship. I actually already listened to their EP.
Yeah, we both did listen.
And that is a band, again, it kind of grew on me. The first two songs I was not a big fan of. But the back half of that little EP, I think it was only like 6 songs.
Yeah, it was very short.
Yeah, the back half I thought was amazing. And all of the songs are based off of an anime called Love Live. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting.
And I love the cover.
Yes,
of the girl with the disemboweled, but holding up her guts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's anime girl. It's really awesome.
Yeah, Martin and I were talking about that earlier today too. It almost reminds me of one of those old school hookups skate T-shirts. Yeah, it was really cool.
It had that feel.
I like them. I'm already gonna tell you I like them off the bat. But we'll get more into.
I want to see some more of the video videos because the videos are pretty nuts too. Another one we're gonna check out is Animals as Leaders.
Okay.
We got Ryan Grenier of, well, formerly of Novus Day. I don't know what the new name of the band is, but yeah, they don't have a name yet. They have a couple really awesome songs though. But Animals as Leaders, he had suggested, very experimental, very prog. We were listening to it earlier. It's like jazz metal.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, the bass player plays an 8-string bass.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm really interested to hear this.
Yeah, definitely. But what are we going to give a rating for Rings of
Saturn?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh
What
my
do you
God. See,
I'm going to give them a temporary score.
Yep.
A temporary score of 2.
Okay.
I feel like I need to hear, because you said they changed their sound in some of their I think older stuff or newer stuff. Because I think
their older stuff was a little different. What we listened to was
I think that was the last album. Yeah, their newest one
is what we listened
to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. And I'll listen to some of their older stuff, and then maybe we can.
Yeah, I'm good with that too. Yeah. Like maybe 2.5, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because I like the vocals, because I like the guitars.
Yeah, the guitarist was phenomenal. I give him fucking 5 alives out of 5. He was fantastic.
Dude, he might be Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ went the opposite way. Yeah, Jesus Christ went brutal.
Yeah.
Face melting brutal.
It was pretty sweet.
Again, I'm interested in this Animals as Leaders though.
Yeah, we'll definitely check him out.
It reminded me when I listened to it if Rush and Mastodon and Mike Patton smashed together and made just the craziest music.
Very like avant-garde.
Some of it was avant-garde. Yeah, you're hearing like these brutal chugs and then like a really weird jazz bass line.
And if you guys want to hear us review any of your favorite metal bands, leave a comment.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let us know what band you want us to review, and then you can, hear us riff on them and joke around and have.
So with that, we are 5 Alive. I am Bobby T.
I'm Crza.
And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe.